They're at the line. That's Beth Miller at the head of the field with the red flag in her hand. She and her grid marshals do a fabulous job. When she gets the indication, she'll head off, and she does. And now we'll watch for the light to go out. Visors are down, and they are away. And on that, it's Gagne on the Road Race Factory. Looked like he got a good start.
He jumped up into that second spot, followed Jake Lewis down into one. So that's one guy, Garrett Gerloff, he doesn't have to deal with right now. So as they go up into turn 2, it gets really crowded up there, and then this hill really drops away from you. The motorcycle G's out right here, and up they crest the top of this hill, and then they're heading for one of the hard braking zones, a big passing zone right here.
Yeah, they're still definitely working it right now. The battle for the second spot is a good one. They're still scratching and clawing, trying to sort that one out. Meanwhile, up front, it's the long, tall drink of water from Princeton, Kentucky, number 85, Jake Lewis, leading them at the moment. I'm told it is Jason DeSalvo that had an engine problem that's kept him off the grid, so a tough break for him. A mechanical took him out. Scott Russell, it's a dogfight up front here in the early going.
It already is, and the number 8, Garrett Gerloff's really getting excited. Looks like he's made the move on Jake Lewis down the back straightaway as they dip into turn 12 right there.
And he was able to hold the spot after taking it, so the pressure is on up front. The battle for second has been the best one thus far all race long. Gerloff beginning to get about a 4 bike length advantage on the field right now, the first advantage anyone has really had.
Yeah, he's got his head down, and he wants to make it right from Elkhart Lake and get back up in the front. He had a great season going, and here he is off into turn 1 with about a 5 bike length lead already.
That was Bobby Fong in the 3 spot, Gagne in the 4 spot, and Beach up to the 5th spot right now. So Gerloff, Fong, and Beach each able to make a little bit of a pass and a 1 spot advantage over their starting spots here in the opening lap of this one. It's a 19 lap affair, 18 remain on a very, very hot and humid day here in Birmingham, Alabama.
And you can see Gagne dive down the inside at Charlotte's Web on Bobby Fong out there to take that 3rd spot. They swapped that position on the 1st lap. Bobby made that same move in the same spot, and Jake repaid the favor on lap 2.
You're right about Garrett Gerloff. He's going to want to make amends. At Road American Race 2, Scotty ended up with a 24th official finish. Not what he wanted. He had a good year going prior to that. 5th at Daytona, 2nd at Road American Race number 2. And right now he is up front, and he's looking very, very good here in the early going. At Barber is the 8 machine of Garrett Gerloff.
Lewis will have a good look at him. Now he's had 1 lap to follow him around. I mean, this is really early days in this race, so everybody's still trying to fight their way to the front. But Gerloff's definitely got some pace on these guys, and Jake's going to have to dig deep right now, and there's still some battling going on for that 3rd between Fong and Gagne big time as they come into the last corner.
So the latest Motors Castrol Triumph machine of Bobby Fong right now leading the charge for the Triumph teams up near the front. He is in the 3 spot. The best race lap of the race belongs to number 85, Jake Lewis, 128.258. Might we see yet some quicker lap times as this one unfolds and things settle down?
I think after the fuel starts to burn off, these guys get a real rhythm going, and man, you could see the bike getting excited as he come over the top of the turn 5 right there, turn 4. Bike got really light for Gerloff. He stayed in it. Hard on the brake into Charlotte's Web, but yeah, Barry, the times are probably going to come down a little bit. I would imagine we'll see some of those 27s like we saw in qualifying.
Jake did turn in a 128.2, but right now he is on a tear. He is drawn up on the rear wheel of number 8, Garrett Gerloff, as Gerloff put a couple of tires off in the sand just off the racetrack.
Yeah, that section of racetrack is really exciting. Well, we got Ryder down. That looks like Bobby Fong.
That was a hard hit.
3rd spot, really riding well right there. And now he's down in the museum turn.
He will. That will likely facilitate a red. He's in a bad place on the racetrack in an impact zone. And he looked like he ran off the racetrack, Scott. Perhaps we'll get another look, but tucked the front, and it was a hard hit into the tarmac.
Well, that section of racetrack, these riders all jump the curve as it bends right, and you just trying to jump the curve on the left. And that's where you saw Gerloff get in the dirt a little bit. He was able to hold it, no problem, but that's just kind of the line right there. I really didn't see exactly what happened to Bobby there, though.
Man, that had to ring his bell pretty good, hitting the ground that hard. To me, it looked like a hard hit. He was moving when we last had a camera view on him. Now we see that the teams are ready to receive these gallant warriors in GoPro Daytona Sport Bike as they all come back to the hot pit lane. GoPro Daytona Sport Bike is underway here at Barber. We're under the red flag with just 2 laps down.
Definitely not what Garrett Gerloff wanted to see. When you're out front like that, you
We
know you made a
are
great start to a
excited to
race and
introduce
worked
the
your way up
most
the front already. Setting the pace, this is kind of breaks your stride right here, so you got to get work to get that back.
So they'll get a moment to chat it up with their teams. We'll take a 30-second break. We'll be right back at Barber Motorsports Park. The Triumph Superbike Classic is underway with GoPro Daytona Sport Bike race number 1. We are excited to introduce the most advanced GoPro yet, the Hero 3 Plus Black Edition, featuring a 20% smaller and lighter design and 30% better battery life than previous models. These upgrades, combined with an improved lens and convenient new video capture modes, produce the most advanced and easy-to-use GoPro yet. Visit GoPro.com. Good sign right there that Bobby Fong is up. He's got his motorcycle running, and it sounds like Danielle's got something for us. Let's throw it down trackside and just surprise her and check in. Danielle?
Thanks, Barry. We just wanted to catch up with one of the Triumph riders since we're here at the Triumph Superbike Classic. Danny, did you see what happened out there? We're under a red flag situation.
Yeah, I was kind of dropping back a little bit. That lead group was getting away, and I don't know if Bobby hit that curb or if he made contact with somebody else, but to crash on the inside there is kind of tough to do, I think, by yourself. So he looks like he had some help probably. Hard to say, though.
How are you feeling? I know you're sitting second in points right now after a great start to the season. A little bit of a rough patch of Road America, but how are you feeling here today?
Oh, pretty rough. It's hot, and, physically I feel fine. But we got started behind the 8-ball just the first thing this morning. And, just when we kind of start behind the 8-ball and the bike's not working for us and, working against us, it kind of makes it tough. So, I don't know. We'll get going after this restart and get up there and give them hell.
Barry.
Thank you, Danielle. The thoughts of Danny Eslick, the Daytona 200 winner. He says when things aren't working well and the bike's working against you, it makes for kind of a tough start. But I know he's got the mental toughness to overcome that if the bike will play the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he heard him say he was dropping back a little bit. I watched him in the first session. They came in early with the bike. Throttle was hanging wide open kind of. And so they had a little bit of setback. And that's all you need right now. These guys come in here and didn't have any problems in that first session this morning, which was qualifying, by the way. Things happen quick. So
they definitely do. Bobby Fong, we saw him remount on the latest Motors Castrol Triumph Daytona 675, and he is making his way back to the hot pit area where Danielle Teal awaits. When he hops off the motorcycle, perhaps we'll be able to get a quick word with Bobby Fong, one of the hard-charging riders in this group. It was good sign, Scott, that he immediately kind of got up and got moving around.
Yeah, and so hopefully he'll be able to rejoin the race. Typically, when you're the guy that starts causes the red flag, you go to the back of the pack. So that'll make life really tough for him today. This is not a track you want to start in the back and being banged up. So hopefully he'll be able to get back in it. And really have to look forward to tomorrow.
Dunlop is the official road racing tire of AMA Pro Racing. Dunlop loves interacting with riders on Dunlop tires, and now you. All right, let's check in with Danielle and see what's happening down on the hot pit.
Thanks, Barry. I'm down here in hot pits, and Bobby Fong's pits actually. Wanted to catch up with him. He's a little shaken up, probably very hot. He's the rider that went down. He didn't want to say much, but if you could look down here and see what's going on, they're putting the bike back together, trying to fix any cosmetic issues that they're seeing to get this bike ready to go back out.
Oh, thanks for that, and thanks for the look on the motorcycle. You can't blame him for not wanting to chit-chat right at the moment. Pretty shook up, probably knocked every bit of the breath out of him when he hit the ground, and, of course, the work continues on the machine.
It didn't look like they were thrashing too hard on it, so obviously the bike did well in the crash. Now the rider's the real important part, so now, like I said, by causing the red flag, he'll have to start in the back of the pack if that's what happens.
And that's a tough proposition in this particular field. It was interesting to me that the bike, first of all, it didn't high side. It just was a kind of a low side, and the bike didn't even slide very far. So perhaps there's not a whole lot of damage. Christy Lee reporting that she had a moment to speak with the crew chief for Jason DeSalvo. That engine did expire with about 5 laps remaining, and they just did not have enough time to get the thing ready to go. And now you're looking at the team, the latest Motors Castrol Triumph team. There's George Latest over the wall looking on at his crew, hard at work here. George, one of the nice guys in our sport. And we're seeing the work. Scott, what do you see in here so far?
Well, it looks like they're playing with working on the throttle right now, which obviously is one of the most important components on the motorcycle. And then the rear set's on the right side where the foot peg is and the brake lever. So obviously had an issue there. But all in all, it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, the rear sets are on the ground. The windshield is, I think, being replaced or been replaced. And cool. So here we are, Scott Russell, GoPro Daytona Sport Bike. Pretty crazy beginning.
It is, yeah. I mean, this is, like I said, this is not what you want to see right out of the gate, 2 laps into it and then have to start it. I mean, stop it and restart it and try to get back to where you were on it again. But really, for Bobby's safety and the other rider's safety, they had to do it. And we'll just see if he can make a comeback right now.
So right now the teams are busy down along the hot pit lane, timing and scoring, resetting the running order. We'll have a full field rundown for you. We will get our starting lineup back underway momentarily. At AMA Pro rules requires a 10-minute minimum time on the red. That way the teams know that they've got at least 10 minutes before the red is removed and we go back and start giving them a 3-minute call. So we are under a brief red here in GoPro Daytona Sport Bike. And with that, I'll take a moment and remind everyone that here at Barber Motorsports Park, we are right on the grounds is the largest vintage motorcycle museum in the world. And they are open special hours today and tomorrow for all of us here trackside. They're open 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. today, 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. tomorrow. And the cool thing is there are only 3 times per year that they open that lower restoration level where all that high quality restoration work is done. This is one of those 3 times annually when they open it to the public. They do it here, I think, for the motorcycle crowd that follows AMA Pro because they know that we all appreciate the rich tradition of motorcycling in America and the world, and of course the largest museum in the world. And you know what's cool is they have the largest collection of Lotus race cars, Lotus cars in the world as well. Also, tomorrow at 10 a.m., they will be showing the great documentary, Why We Ride. And I'll tell you now, for those of you that are here and listening, the seating is limited. It's first come, first served, so get over there early. Watch it for free with your paid museum admission, and that's 10 o'clock in the morning. So, wow, we are going to take a quick break in the action, and as we do so, we thank our friends with Cortex Performance Gear, Cortex providing our live timing and scoring. Cortex Performance Gear is a proud sponsor of AMA. Cortex Performance Gear is a proud sponsor of AMA Pro Road Racing's timing and scoring pages on AMAProRacing.com. Make sure to check out the latest Cortex gear at your local stocking dealer. You can also download the AMA Pro Racing app for your smartphone from the App Store to check out live timing and scoring, season point standings, as well as all the latest news from AMA Pro Racing. Cortex, maker of So, by AMA Pro rules, it's a safety rule right down the line. Each rider that is involved that brings out a red flag in a deal like that must be checked over by medical personnel. So that's going to happen as of next here on the racetrack. Also, quick reminder that tomorrow we have a chapel service. Want to invite all of you, since you will be here at the racetrack and not at home. If you would like to attend, it's at the Inflatable Chapel on the access road leading around to the tower. 8:15 chapel service tomorrow in the Inflatable Chapel, and 9:15 and 10:15 will be chapel service at the Larry Pegram Foremost Insurance Group hauler. So three opportunities tomorrow for a very brief. Tim Burleson, the AMA Pro chaplain, does a great job. It's always uplifting, it's always inspirational, it's always brief. And that's just how we like it. So that's going to happen at 8:15 at the Inflatable Chapel tomorrow, and 9:15 and 10:15 in the Paddock Chapel at the Pegram Racing Garage. Want to again say thanks to all those out there who are helping us on Facebook and Twitter, keeping us up to speed on all that's going on. We appreciate that very much. We do. It's great to get your feedback. If you're just joining us here on fanschoice.tv, every single lap, over 17 hours of programming, is being covered on fanschoice.tv this weekend at Barber. I think at Road America, Scott Russell, we covered 24, 25, 26 hours over 3 days, as you well know. And here at Road America, we're looking at about 17 plus hours of coverage. So if you've joined us for every bit of it, thank you for being a part of it. If you're just now joining us, we say thank you, and perhaps you'll be watching it in the archives at fanschoice.tv or on YouTube on our channel. And no matter when you watch it, we thank you for being a part of it. So the boards and horns are happening. We are the countdown is underway, and when we come back, we'll be bikes rolling out of the hot pit lane, back out to the starting grid, and we'll get it underway. I got to remind you one more time, folks, please drink plenty of water. If you're out in that sun, sunscreen up. We want you to be healthy and comfortable and be back with us here tomorrow. There's a good look at Bobby. He's putting in more water himself. You can see all those crews down there drinking. There's Shane Narbonne, number 56, making his way out of his pit stall. Steve Rapp, number 15, we saw him go by. There's Joe Roberts, the young phenom. Got his first win in his first pro race right here at Barber. Last year, not having the best year in AMA Pro that he is capable of, but nonetheless, the youngster is a mega talent. There's Jake Zimke, just went by, number 98. We saw the beautiful Cadillac safety car that they're utilizing here at Barber this weekend. Not surprising they would have cool cars at Barber.
It's all good here at Barber. They got everything's cool. Porsche driving school. There's some trick stuff around this racetrack for sure.
Yeah, and in addition to all of the amazing things that makes Barber, like the landscaping in and of itself is pretty phenomenal. We've got some facts and figures on that we'll be talking about later. I'm still impressed and amazed with the type of landscaping they have and just the mega size of this place and the kind of job they do. But I think more importantly at Barber, I was talking to Jeff Ray on a Talking Motorcycles radio show the other day, and we were talking with him about the southern hospitality that you feel here when you walk in the gate. And everybody feels special here at Barber. They see to it. Yeah, Scott, you might be interested in this or you might not, but I'm going to tell you either way, so there you go. There are 12,000 azalea bushes on this property. There are 826,000 bulbs, 8,000 junipers, 10,000 crepe myrtles, 137 acres of Bermuda grass. Get this on the irrigation system. First of all, 80% of this place drains into the 18-acre lake. 80% of it does. Then they use that water through 22 miles of irrigation pipe. I live in Florida. I have like 15 heads on my irrigation system. I can never keep it all working. I don't know how they keep all this working. 700 acres of wooded land, and in just over a decade, they've had over 100 major sporting events here at Barber. I want to see an IndyCar race here. The bikes are back here at the line. So Bobby Fong bringing out the red. He's all the way at the back of this field. So the front row's a little bit light right now, but the light is off and they're down and away, headed into turn number 1 here for the first time on the restart, 17 to go.
Yeah, it looks like everybody made it through turn 1 clean. That's always tough to do sometimes in the 600 class, and making their way through turn 2 right now. Looks like Jake Lewis has jumped back out there, buried where he started the first race at.
Yeah, and he's going to be hard to beat because he's got that confidence today, but he's going to have to stay on the stick because Garrett Gerloff is having a good day. He's got a good motorcycle, and it might be fun for the fans to watch number 50, Bobby Fong, because he's very fast today, and if the bike is still good, he'll be threading the needle up through this amazing field. Here's Gerloff taking a look. He's just worrying him a little bit, I think.
I think so. He's going to try to put the heat on him right away and see if he can get back up in front where he ended that first part of the race, that first 2 laps. He made his way to the front and was setting sail, not setting sail, but setting the pace right there. And now Lewis is back out there, and Gerloff's going to look for a spot down here off that back straightaway right now. It doesn't look like he's close enough to make a move yet.
Timing and scoring reporting that it was a good, clean start. All is well up front. The race is on right now. It is, we've got, I think it's Gerloff down. He may have collected another. Well, they went out of our view, but I think there were maybe 2 involved. I'm pretty sure, shouldn't speculate on who it was, but I believe it was Gerloff. We'll find out in a moment.
Yeah, it looks like when they came over the top of that hill and turned 13, headed to 14, he got into the back of our leader right there, Jake Lewis, it looked like to me. But it's hard to say, and he went down another rider too.
There are, in fact, 2 riders down over in that turn, and both riders are up and on their feet, and they're busy trying to get those bikes out of the impact zone. But, yep, there it is. There's the Yamaha Extended Service.
That's Jake Gagne and Garrett Gerloff, both out.
That's very frustrating. It's 2 of our front runners. It's our point leader, Gagne, involved, and Gerloff, who was looking to make a comeback here after a disastrous race number 2 at Road America. He's going to have to save it for tomorrow.
Well, that kind of blows the race wide open right now. In the 0-0, Dane Westby finds himself out front right now, and he's got about a 5 bike-length lead as they go down the back straightaway, headed for that fast left-right chicane.
And you know what, Scott? He did that right here in turn number 1. After that deal happened down there, they came down the straightaway, and under the draft, he got a good toe, made the move, and as they went out of sight here into turn number 1, he had taken the spot away, and Lewis has been unable to draw back up on him at this point.
Well, Eslick made a mistake down that back straightaway through the chicane, ran a little bit wide, and that opened the door for Lewis to get back in that second spot right there. And now Eslick's back in third spot, but a better lease on life in this race than he had in the first one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That is so tough to see those 2 go down. Now we'll watch those that remain because, again, this will open it up for a few guys because both of those were destined to be perhaps up front all race long. And now that they are apparently out of it here, then we'll see how it all shakes out. Right now, though, it's the Yamalube Westby Racing Machine up front, and he has set sail. He's moved out to about a 10 or 11 bike length advantage.
And he's really pushing hard. Oh, Lewis got a big moment as he hit the brake right there going into Charlotte's Web. He's going to run it a little bit wide. And now that's going to open the door right there to let JD Beach. There's a drag race down that Minfield straightaway.
Beach with the front tire about 6 inches off the ground over the rise right there, hard on the throttle, is going to be able to make it stick. So Beach will now move around number 85, Jake Lewis. JD Beach has not really shown his strength in this class like we'd seen in Super Sport. Maybe it's his day. We'll find out. And the other question is, Scott, can he catch Dane Westby up front?
Well, he's got a good spot right now. He's got nobody in front of him with Lewis behind him. I don't know what happened to Lewis when we went to the brake lever over in the hill at Charlotte's Web. Like he tucked the front for just a second. Not sure, but it just opened the door for JD to come on in, and now he's going to see if he can run down Westby.
And you could tell he was still collecting himself when he came here into that Charlotte's Web corner. He was still very much trying to reel it all back in, so he did definitely have a moment, and you caught it as it happened. Flailing of legs is what I saw at one point.
Yeah, he's got those big long legs, so that'll help him a little bit. But Westby right now looks like he's being caught pretty quick by JD Beach, so this could be anybody's game today.
JD Beach started off the year with a pretty bad finish, really, at Daytona in the 200 back in the late 20-some-odd finishing spot. However, JD had a third-place finish at Road America in race number 1 and a second place in race number 2. So he is really beginning to show himself here, and I believe I got a report of a rider down but back on his feet somewhere out there on the racetrack, and it might have been Reedman.
Well, these three up front are really getting away from Eslick. Eslick being in fourth right now. He's being dropped pretty fast by this group of Yamahas. Nobody's running the pace these guys are, and you can see in the background Eslick coming out of that leading that second group of riders, but these 3 Yamahas are really getting off on the front.
They would love to get out in front and just be able to settle that podium spots amongst themselves without having to wrestle everybody else, but it may or may not turn out that way. When they come by the stripe this next time, we'll run a little deeper in the order and catch everyone up at home on who is running where. You can still see the flags flying in the breeze. That breeze is strong, and it continues here as they come across the finish line stripe. It'll be 13 to go when they get by this time. And let's take not a full field rundown, but we'll at least go back 10 or 15 deep. It's Dane Westby, your race leader. J.D. Beach in the 2 spot. Jake Lewis running in 3rd. Benito Solis running 4th. Danny Eslick now slips back 1 spot as he'll give that spot up to Benito, and Eslick will settle for 5th at the moment. Bobby Fong is up to 6th place. That is an amazing turn of events right there as Fong is back to 6th. Steve Rapp 7th. Jake Zipke 8th. Blake Young in the 9th spot. Kyle Wyman running 10th. Tomas Puerta 11th. And 12th through 15 is Stefano Mesa, Joe Roberts, Elena Myers, Bryce Prince, and Tucker Lancaster in the 16th spot. So we'll get a little deeper in the field and try to call your favorite rider a little later. But right now we're turning our attention back to the front of this GoPro Daytona Sport Bike field, where it is fully a war up front and for the 4th on back spot.
Well, you can see Solis right there. He's got, that's Bobby Fong behind him. It looks like Bobby's already made a move on Danny Eslick. So that's going to probably put him in the 5th spot. And now he's got his sights set on Benny Solis. And then after that, it's the 3 leaders out in front of him. What a rebound for him.
You know, he was strong right off the trailer this weekend. He's been strong all day long. And obviously, as we said, putting him in the tail of the field has got to be fun for people to watch. Hard work for him, perhaps, but a lot of fun for us spectating. As the leaders continue to slug it out, it's Dane Westby up front, but he has been unable, Scott Russell, to shake J.D. Beach.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of spots on the racetrack that each one of them look a little bit better. And this spot, to me, where Westby looks like he's struggling a little bit, as they go down in the dip into 3 and over the top of 4, Dane loses time there every time. JD's able to roll right back up on him, and Lewis is just kind of sitting back there watching. He's really not making any moves right now.
I don't think J.D. Beach is going to watch for long, Scott. I got a feeling as soon as he can find a place to really strike, he's going to do it. But Lewis is on the move, too. As they look 3 wide, they're actually not, but they were 2 wide at the front, I believe, for a moment. And there's the battle for 4th on back, and it, too, is a barn burner at this point in time with 12 to go.
Yeah, Fong's closing on Solis in a hurry right now. Benny's running a great race out there in 4th right now. Got the leaders up ahead of him right now, not really able to match that lap time, by. A little bit slower than the leaders, a half a second or so off, but he's about to have trouble with number 50 and Bobby Fong soon.
Barry Boone and Scott Russell in the booth. Danielle Teal working it down along the hot pit. This is race number 1 here at Barber Motorsports Park as a big part of the Triumph Superbike Classic weekend for GoPro Daytona Sport Bike, and it's well underway with 12 to go.
Well, you know, like I said, it looks like Westby's really strong in that last section of the racetrack, which is key coming down to the end of the race. But this early part of the racetrack, he's struggling a little bit. In this section right here, you'll see, if we can stay with this, as we go off of turn 2 down in the hole here, looks like he runs out wide, uses all the curb right here, a little bit more than JD, and he has to pick the bike up. The track's really rough at the apex right there, so it looks like he's trying to do something different right there, and it allows JD to close back up on him, but not close enough to really make a move yet.
11 laps to go. GoPro Daytona Sport Bike really, really well underway here. You've really got 2 or 3 battles going on right now. You've got the one up front with Westby and Beach and Jake Lewis. And there's that battle right there as they're working their way back to the stripe. And perhaps we can persuade Mr. Russell to take us all on a lap here at Barber Motorsports Park from a rider's perspective as they get back to the line.
Well, I mean, obviously this is a key turn right here, being the last turn on the racetrack, turn 17. You want to get that squared up and get a really good drive. Leading on any straightaway is a real critical turn. Turn 1's tricky right here. Over the top, it's blind. You cannot see the apex until you're almost at it. So brake marking and putting the bike on the right spot when you turn in is critical. Turn 2 right here, long duration corner, goes up and over and down a hill and then bottoms out into turn 3 and over the hill, and 4 right there, as you can see, looking down the inside of Charlotte's Web. This is a premier passing zone on the racetrack. Always a real fun spot, blind entrance off camber, real tricky for the riders. Then they climb back over this hill right here, down the infield straightaway, and they're just grabbing gears right now. And this funnels into a super tight spot, Barry, right here, and it's not a great place to pass. You're going to jump the curb. They're nearly in the grass right there, and then the bike really loads up, and that's the museum turn. And it really winds them up, sends them down this back straightaway, and they climb a little bit right here, and you'll drive the bike off in, on the gas, back off just a little bit to get the front end set, and then pick that throttle back up. And that leads you down the second part of that infield straightaway, and down in a hole right here. Another blind apex. Can't see it till you get right over the crest of the hill. This section right here, the bike gets super light. We've already seen some action in this section of the racetrack. And then this is the section I think Westby's really strong in, this long duration turn 14, 15 area that just keeps on going and then decreases right at the end. You got to get the bike back to the right, get it swooped back, and get a good drive on the front straightaway.
And there's a lap at Barber, and I wish we had a split screen and had the GoPro on here in the booth. You could have seen the throttle control as Scott was calling that one. Great job. As during that lap, I couldn't help but notice that J.D. Beach and Jake Lewis are both getting a little bit anxious. Westby's still up front, but Scott, I don't know that they could finish this way because all three of them are so evenly matched right now. They're turning nearly identical lap times, and they're just that close and that good.
They are, and I mean, it's just like one of those deals where you don't really need to make a move. I think they're all closely matched in lap time. I don't think any one of these guys, maybe they don't feel like they can get away from the other rider. So Westby's out there. He's kind of the sitting duck. The other two are getting a real good look at what's going on, and when they're ready, they're going to strike. But that door's really got to open because Westby's closing these doors, and he's running real tight lines and really run a solid race right now.
And it looks to me that Westby's getting a good drive out of most of these corners.
You know, that's key. You know, a lot of people focus on going into the corner, getting into the corner hard. But, you know, you look at a racetrack, it's got more open throttle than braking zones. So that's where you want to be good, is leading on the straightaways.
You got some really smart guys here, Dane Westby, J.D. Beach, and Jake Lewis. And J.D. Beach and Jake Lewis have run 1 million laps together on dirt as well as asphalt over the years. They trust one another explicitly. So it does appear to me that Westby's kind of got the measure of them on several of the corners around this racetrack. There's J.D. Beach. Now, for those who may not be familiar, number 6, that's your second place rider. That's Beach. Behind him is number 85, Lewis. They're both Kentucky guys. Beach originally from Washington State, but the last several years he's lived in and around Philpott and Owensboro. Jake Lewis, Princeton, Kentucky. I mean, these two guys have raced together a bazillion times. Indoor dirt track, Grand National flat track. They've done it all in road racing, lap after lap after lap. You know they know one another well. They've got to be planning something here.
Oh, well, they're planning on trying to figure out a way to get around the 00. And there he looks down into turn 1, but he didn't make it happen. JD decided to fall back in line. Dane, like I said, ran a super solid race. But Jake's fired up, starting on his first pole position here in Daytona Sport Bike class. JD has not had the year, really, we thought he may have moving up to the Graves team. But so this could be the day for a lot of guys right here this year.
Well, it looks like J.D. Beach is beginning to get very much impatient. He's taken a look, as you said, at the end of the front straight going into turn number 1. He almost made the move but thought better of it. He took a look again coming into Charlotte's Web and decided against it. But I think J.D. Beach is beginning to get impatient. With that, though, Jake Lewis is right there within striking distance, too. If Beach goes, I think the 85 will go with him.
Good chance that that'll happen, but moving the Wolverine out of the way is going to be the tough part. So will Westby make a mistake and give him a spot to pass? Because like here, you almost have to move the rider out of the way. It's such a tough track to pass on.
Dane Westby can get it done. He ended up 30th in the 200 down at Daytona. He was 19th in race number 1 at Road America, but he had a solid ride in race 2 at Road America, earned a third spot on the box in podium. And today, I think you're right. The Wolverine's got his teeth on the top of the box. He's not. You're going to have to shake that thing away from him. He wants it bad, and he's certainly on the stick. Here's Beach one more time at the end of the front stretch, taking a look on the inside. It was a shutoff contest, and Westby wasn't going to give it up.
It's one of those deals where you're holding your breath when you go into there. When you try to pass a guy on the inside, I guarantee you're holding your breath because it funnels down so tight and so quick as you crest the top of the hill. I mean, there's the apex, and you better be spot on. And if you're not, you're going to take the guy out and take yourself out with him. You could do easy.
Watching him into Charlotte's Web here with 6 remaining. Westby on the throttle. He'll lead him up the hill. The 6 of J.D. Beach right there in tow. That's Jake Lewis. And then we look back at the battle for the 4th spot. Right now, that's Benito Solis and Bobby Fong, and they are slugging that one out. Looking a little deeper, you've got Danny Eslick, Steve Rapp, Zimke, and Blake Young as the 4 of them are trying to sort that out. There's good battles back in this racetrack, no doubt about it, but it's really hard in this particular race not to focus on the lead trio because it's all coming down to about a 5-lap shootout here, and you know there's just going to be some fireworks before this thing's over. I don't think they'll roll across the stripe without somebody trying something.
Yeah, somebody's got to try to make a move, and this where's it going to be at right now? Dane's doing a super job keeping it clean, being fast where he needs to be fast, coming off the corners onto these straightaways. He just gets a little bit of a drive, just enough, and then you'll see JD make a little bit of a run at him at the end of these straightaways, but then it ends, and that makes it tough. If you're right on a guy, it makes it a little bit easier to pull right out and try to outbreak him, but when you're coming from 5 bike lengths back off the corner, it makes it too tricky to do.
Yeah, but this is good. This is really good stuff right here. These middleweight 600s, they're allowed more modifications than the super sport guys. The level of experience of the riders twisting the throttle comes way up, and Beach takes a run at him. He takes a look on the inside, but once again, I don't know if he's really trying him, Scott, or if he's just trying to show him a wheel and shake him up a little bit. I can't tell.
Yeah, he's just doing all he can do right now, but there's nothing there. And right there, as they come off that museum turn, Westby's able to get down into that right-hander and get the bike to really rotate and get direction and get on the gas coming out of there. It looks like JD's still trying to slow his bike down a little bit. And right there where the bike needs to turn and get back to the throttle, he's having to wait on it a little bit. Whether that being him driving into the corner trying to make up that time on the brake, I'm not sure. But definitely it's not working out for him and not giving him a shot at Westby.
I know the man doesn't need an introduction, but that's the voice of Scott Russell. For those of you that may not be familiar with motorcycle road racing in America, he is a 5-time Daytona 200 winner, 750 world champion, and my partner as we've got it on here at the line. It looks like the battle was won by Beach on the drag race down the front stretch. Beach will lead them into turn number 1. They'll head to 2. Westby's under pressure from Lewis right now. He has fallen into the clutches of the long, tall drink of water from Princeton, Kentucky.
Well, don't be surprised. Whoa, big one for Lewis right there. Bike got out on the throttle. Bike got sideways a little bit. He threw them big long legs out and saved it, no problem.
It cost him some track position, though. He dropped back about 5 bike lengths. He saved it, but it cost him. And now J.D. Beach has got control of the pace of the race. What will he do? Will he press hard? Will he try to pull away? I mean, he can try that, but Westby's so strong and they're so even.
This is the spot I was talking about. Look at him running a little bit wide. Westby's able to turn it and just make it work right there. And, now it's a drag race, and then Westby's able to take that back. But that right there is the spot I was talking about, and Westby capitalized on that little bit of a mistake that JD made right there.
Excellent call, and Westby able to retake the spot. Now Lewis knows, or JD Beach knows he can do it. I believe that'll give him the confidence to do it yet again, or at least make the shot at doing it. But there are 4 to go. This thing is coming down to the wire here at GoPro Daytona Sport Bike, and it's a good one. Real quick review. It's Beach, Westby, and Lewis. Then Bobby Fong and Benito Solis battling for 4th. Danny Eslick, Steve Rep, Jake Zimke, and Blake Young battling for the 6th spot. Behind them is Kyle Wyman, Tomas Puerta, Tucker Lancaster. And when they get back to the stripe, this race will be 80% complete, meaning if something were to happen to facilitate a red, it could be called. Westby again back to the point. Beach in the 2 spot, but Beach is hounding him one more time.
That's a big difference in line. Look at Lewis down the inside. Oh, he's clipped JD Beach.
And ran clean off the racetrack here. Can he get it shut down? He has to throw the bike away prior to going into the fence. And that's going to be it for number 85, Jake Lewis. He's okay. He's up on his feet. He's still got the bike running, and he'll rejoin to try to salvage something. But it is a 2-rider battle up front now with Dane Westby and JD Beach. And Westby doesn't have much of an advantage at all. Here in the closing moments of this one, anything can happen here in this one.
Boy, that was close right there. You could see as they come over to Charlotte's Web that Jake looked like he passed his brake marker and almost just forgot to brake for a second and just really went by with a head of steam and clipped the back of JD Beach.
And he was on the inside of the racetrack trying to get out there out of harm's way. And when he crossed over, it looked like he tapped him. I think JD Beach did a nice job hanging on myself.
I think so. And now it's a 2-horse race right now. And this is where JD made his move last time. Dane's got to clean that last corner up just a little bit. He looks like he's running a little bit wide on the exit. And then JD gets a good drive and able to kind of get up beside him and made it work once, but can he do it twice?
Can he do it twice? And does he want to lead the entire lap? You know, does he want to make that pass here at the beginning of the lap down in turn number 1? Or does he want to try to do it later? I guess at this point you take what you can get, but some strategy may apply here.
Boy, Dane's having fun. He's wheeling at the apex of turn 4 over the top of that hill. With the line he's taking right there, it looks like his bike's struggling on the front end right there. He's having to wheelie across those little bumps right there, and that allows JD to kind of get close, but not close enough yet. The 00 still running strong, holding him off. I don't think there's 2 guys in this race that would want to win more than these 2 guys right now.
And I think it's of interest, too, because Westby started in the 6th spot, Beach started in the 7th spot back on that 3rd row, and they are setting the pace and have been now for the better part of this one. I'm pretty sure we'll be at white flag when they get back to the stripe this next time, and they'll have 1 lap remaining to sort it all out here. I love the paint package, the paint, the livery. That Yamalu paint package is so handsome on Westby's machine. When they revealed it just before Daytona, I thought, man, that's a classic paint package.
Let's see how this goes this time down the front straightaway. This is where JD made his move. You see Dane uses all of the curb off on the outside now. Let's see that white flag. It's going to get serious right now.
Westby will hold him off on the shutoff contest into turn number 1. He carried a lot of speed into that corner.
This is where you got to be mentally tough right now. When you're out front, you're even in second, you got to make everything work just right on this last lap. Now watch Westby right here at the apex. You see him kind of wheelie off the apex. And JD's got a good attempt right here, but I'm telling you, down in that hole, man, you got to really make it work. You got to be beside the guy to make it stick, or you can take him out. So he falls back in line, and down that infield straightaway they go. Can you line him up for something down here?
It's going to be hard, like you said early on. The Wolverines wants this one so bad, and both of these riders are so skilled. We'll see how it works out. One thing for sure, the Yamaha Extended Service Monster Energy Graves Yamaha team know how to pick them. JD Beach is a mentally tough guy here late in the going. I don't think the physical or the mental's bothering him. He just needs a little tick more speed is what he really needs, I think, maybe. But we'll see. Westby's holding him off at the moment. The white flag lap, we're deep into it right now.
Well, this is where Westby's good. When they come over the hill right here into turn 15, there's a lot of racetracks, so we'll see what Westby runs a tight line to cover that inside up. I'm thinking he will.
And he did.
And there he goes. And now watch the inside down here. He's closed that door off, but did he kill his drive coming on the front straightaway?
Oh my gosh, what a save by JD Beach. And he beat his fist on the bars. He said, that's it. I know I gave it away. But you know what? He was giving it his all. Coming out of the final corner, bumped the curbing and got the thing in a tank slapper. I think that was one that we're going to, and folks at home on fanschoice.tv will be going back to watch that one and watching it in slow-mo. But Dane Westby has done it. Dane Westby has done it. The double zeros. He has brought the Yamalube Westby Racing colors to the top of the order, and he has won Barber Motorsports Park here at the Triumph Superbike Classic. What a great ride for Dane Westby here today. JD Beach showed a lot of heart. The Yamaha Extended Service rider will be second on the podium. And Scott Russell, you know what? When we look at that third place finisher right there, I got nothing but respect.
God, you got to give the ride of the race to Bobby Fong. Coming from the back, falling down, get back up. That was a hard crash, Barry, too. To come back from that, Bobby's somebody to be reckoned with. Come tomorrow, Dane Westby and JD Beach, what a confidence booster they're going to have going into tomorrow's race. It's going to be good.
You know, and I know you know this. You've watched your team working diligently. I spent about an hour down with the latest Motors crew last night watching them working on those bikes, and I know that Bobby Fong just gave those guys their money's worth right there and said, thank you for all you did for me. These teams worked so hard to give these guys good little rocket ships to ride, and Fong rode the wheels off of it. And there's the man of the hour right there. Nice little burnout, doing what he's supposed to do. He's off the racing surface, lighting up that Dunlop, celebrating with the fans here at the Triumph Superbike Classic. Coming up next is our victory podium, and it is coming right up. We'll take a brief break in the action, and we'll be right back. We are excited to introduce the most advanced GoPro yet, the Hero 3 Plus Black Edition, featuring a 20% smaller and lighter design and 30% better battery life than previous models. These upgrades, combined with an improved lens and convenient Dunlop. GoPro, the world's most versatile camera and producer of some of today's most engaging content, is proud to be the official camera sponsor of AMA Pro Road Racing. Visit GoPro.com for the latest news. There's Hayden Gillum down there waiting in victory lane for his good buddy JD Beach to arrive on the stream. And as a matter of fact, there's so much energy down there right now. I can't wait. Let's just go ahead and throw it down trackside and check in with Christy Lee. Christy?
Obviously, there's a lot of excitement underway here in Victory Circle as our top three pull in. We'll have exclusive interviews with them in just a moment as the bikes get set and ready to go, and we'll also take care of podium awards presentations as well. Barry, I'll toss it back up to you, and we'll grab our first rider in just a moment.
Thank you. We'll look forward to getting that underway here shortly, as we yet have a lot more racing yet to do here today at Barber. So we're look at all the excitement. There's Westby. My goodness, that's I think Patricia down there, Fernandez, giving him a big hug. And Dane Westby enjoying the spoils of victory here, as you saw all the Yamaha guys. And let's go ahead now and throw it down to Christy Lee. She is caught up with the double zeros of Dane Westby.
Dane, outstanding race this afternoon. Obviously some difficult situations with the restart of the race, and obviously with all of this heat out there. Tell us about your race and congrats.
Well, you know, I was able to take advantage of the red flag. You know, I knew the guys were off track, off the line, and you know, there was a little bit of confusion, and just got to keep going until they throw that flag, and it ended up working in my favor. I saw one guy go flying past in the last couple of laps. I knew they were going to try to do something, and I just tried to attack back as quick as I could. Like you said, the hot. It's so ridiculously hot. I mean, the humidity. And I was dying in the truck before this race, but, you know, we come out and you get that bit, and there's no one in front of you, that stuff just disappears. So it's been, you know, almost 20 months since I stepped on a podium besides last weekend. And so I'd really like to thank the Yamaloop team and Westby, my dad, and Arai and Tai Chi and all my guys that helped me make it happen. So, like I said, long time coming, but you can do it too.
Big win for the 00 and Dane Westby. Congratulations to you and the Yamaha Loop team. Barry, back up to you.
Thank you so much, Christy Lee. Dane, he was smelling the barn, as we say out in the country. He said, "Ain't nobody going to take this one away from me. I won it."
Yeah, I mean, these guys deserve it. You know, he was so close, ran a great race at Daytona, had some problems at Elkhart, and now finally it comes good for Westby. They deserve it. Jerry and all those guys down there working really hard on that bike, and Trigg throwing the money at it and make it work. Chuck, all of them, congratulations.
Yeah, there's Chuck. He's ready to go. Hey, let's do it. Let's toss it back down to Christy one more time. I think she's caught up perhaps with JD Beach. We'll see.
That's correct, Barry. Here with the number 6 on the Yamaha Extended Service Graves Yamaha number 6 JD Beach. Congrats on a second place finish there. Tell us about the conditions and how tough this race really was for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was really hot, and at the end, I mean, I screwed the pooch. Man, I set it up the few laps before, and I knew I wasn't quite fast enough to lead Dane, but I mean, I was right there, and I mean, just made a mistake. But I mean, the team has worked so hard this weekend. I mean, in the heat too, just getting this bike to work amazing, and I mean, we still got another race tomorrow. So,
congratulations once again to the number 6 of JD Beach.
What I'm trying to figure out is how does Christy Lee look so fresh? She's dry, she's fresh, she looks all good. I don't understand that myself. So we have one more rider, and what a day, Scott Russell, for Bobby Fong. I mean, seriously, he ended up on the box. And now let's go down one more time. Christy Lee has Bobby Fong.
Number 50, Bobby Fong, obviously having an issue and a crash earlier. It's good to see you able to get back out on the race and podium this weekend for you and your Triumph team. Congrats.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, the main thing is, you know, we had to get on the podium this weekend. You know, it's a Triumph doubleheader this weekend. Triumph's putting so much effort into our program, and my team latest has been just working their butts off all off-season. We had a few mishaps this last few races, but we're on the box this weekend. Hopefully we can win the thing tomorrow.
Congrats again to our third place finisher, number 50 of Bobby Fong. Barry, as all of the riders have mentioned, the conditions down here are absolutely very difficult, and it is so hot. But we're going to bring these guys back up on the podium and try to wrap things up as soon as possible so they can get out of their leathers and rehydrated and ready for tomorrow. Thanks, Barry.